G'day guys and welcome back to the JFBS SuperCoach channel. And today we're going to go through, in my opinion, my locks, my pre-season locks for my AFL SuperCoach team for the 2026 season. So before I start anything, I want to say thanks again. This is recording a day after I posted the video yesterday on my January team. Already about 130 views, 10 there's about 10 of you that liked it. Insane. Thank you very much for watching and supporting. We got a couple of subscribers out of that video too, which is great. Hopefully you guys can keep watching and take a bit of my insight and let me know if if you think I'm wrong, because I'm more than happy to take feedback. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So I've got 11 guys here on my list. They are currently in my team, and I think they're locks for me. These guys are not going to leave my side. Probably, unless for the rest of until round one. Like these guys are going to be in my team until round one, unless there is a significant injury. So there's not many primos, but there's also there's one, two, three, four primos in this out of the 11. Four of them are around rookie price, and then you've got three in that mid price area. So let's kickstart it with the Port guys. So we've got Rosie, Butters, and Brody. You could probably chuck in a Bergman as well in there if you really wanted to. Okay, well, he's over there. But Port guys are going to be pretty interesting to go for at the start because, obviously, like everyone knows, they've got a very easy schedule. That's why I've got Rosie. I think I'm happy to pay Butters the 650K. I think a lot of people are comfortable with like him being the only one paying 650K because you're looking at Bont, McCluggage, Rao, Smith, Dacos, Dunkley, Anderson. Your top eight priced mids are all missing a game at the first 5 weeks. Then you've got Brayshaw, Dawson as your second and third guy. And then you've got Hewitt, Callahan, Richards, Libber, Holmes, Green, Heaney, Miller. Then you don't get till Merritt and Sheasel and Sarong and Rosie. So there's a lot of teams. I mean, fair enough. The best teams with who have the best midfields are obviously going to be playing at the start in that round zero bullshit. But going back to Port Adelaide guys, you can also have a look at like Freo and Adelaide guys. But considering their schedule's really easy, I've got Will Brodie in my flex because I think Josh Carr's really high on him and we'll probably play him in the guts. Same with Butters. I mean, he's just a great player. I mean, he just lights it up. And the teams that he plays, they don't really tag. So he's going to have high scores. He's going to be your auto captain for, like the first month of footy. And then you've got Rosie, who I think he'll probably hit that 600K mark. And he's probably a guy that you want to have in for the rest of the year. Like you've got Naz, Sinclair, Whitfield, Ashes guys that, those are players that you want by the end of the season. But, I've got Rosie, I've got Clark because they don't miss games. These guys all miss round 4. I think that's a really suitable option to go for those Port guys. Coleman, so he's a lock for now. I'll go back to go to Brisbane players, actually, Brisbane defenders. So he's a lock for now. If you watched my second team reveal, I kind of spoke about how there's a lot of line supporters very 50-50 on how does Coleman fit into it. Because you've got Zorko, Fletcher, and Wilmot. They're the ones that come off half-back, unless a guy like Wilmot kind of plays a more, like a lockdown role, or Jasper Fletcher, now that kind of Lockie Neal and his whole situation's going down, he might go into the midfield. So, something might happen there. Noah Answorth, he's probably going to, Leicester, Ainsworth, you got Payne, um, and then obviously Harris Andrews. Like that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Leicester. Gardner's played half the like just under half or just over half the season. Ainsworth played most of the season before he got injured. Um, Duday, he only played one, but he seems to be the most likely fit to replace Starcevic. So it's going to be really hard how they're going to fit Caden Coleman. So I personally don't think he'll play. Just as my original thoughts, I don't think he's going to play round one, which has been insane to say because he is a great player. But I'm only saying that if they just keep it the same as last year. But I think they'll make changes because Lockie Neal's his whole situation's going down. I think he's probably the last guy to touch in this Brisbane midfield. Like McCluggage had a breakout season last year. Dunkley's reliable every game. Ashcroft, I think he's good value for that price. And you've got Berry and Bailey who go into the midfield. And then you've got younger guys. Like you've got Annabelle to potentially feed him some games in the middle as well. Marshall as well. Um, and then if we go back to defenders, then Fletcher is another guy that probably could go into the midfield. There's not many forwards. They said that Rayner's got his spot, or they found his spot, really. But yeah, that's about it. So I know I'm saying that I don't think Coleman will start, won't be playing round one, but at the same time, now that I think about it, he probably might. So I think I'm just going to keep him for now, but he's very easily going to be out of it as well. Moving on to midfielders, already talked about Butters and Brody, but Hayden Young, I mean, he's 389k. He says his body's in the best, like the best it's been in a while, which is really good. And you want to hear that from your players. So if you look here, he had played 8 games, average of 71.9, but there was a few of those games he would have been sub-affected and probably injured as well. So it's a pretty decent price, I won't lie. Because if you look at the midfield, it is Brayshaw, Sarong, and Hayden Young. Bolton goes into the middle. O'Meara obviously goes in the middle. O'Driscoll did go into the middle when he could. So it's not like they have a clear guy who goes into the middle. Obviously, got to fling the magnets around, and you got to put a bit of Shea Bolton in there, or Jager, or O'Driscoll. But your starting 3 midfield for Fremantle round 1 will be Brayshaw, Sarong, and Young. No doubt about it. Unless Young gets injured, I think it's a no-go for. I think it's like give yourself the green light to bring him into your side because I think he's going to be great. Zeke Ewland. So, look, a lot of people don't realise it, I think, that they're like, how is he going to get into this deep Gold Coast Suns side? Like they've got so many great players, which is true. If you look at their best 18 here, yeah, look, just by price, like your starting midfield obviously is going to be Rao, Anderson, Miller, and then Petrarca's going to also be in there as well. But then, like, it's not like it's not a deep team. Of course, it's a deep team, but like they lost Flanders, Fiorini, and Ainsworth. Is it Ains or Ans? I think it's Ainsworth. Yeah, they lost Ainsworth, Flanders, and then also, Fiorini. So that's like 3 spots available there. They brought in Petrarca and Ugelhagen, who are going to be their main guys also. But then it kind of opens up that spot for Ewland to be on a wing. They've never had not saying that Zeke Ewland's natural position is wing, but it's kind of where you kind of put your rookies. That's why you put them in through a lot of conditioning. He'll probably miss, depending when their first buy is, but I reckon he'll miss a game around round 7 or 8 just to, rest his body because the AFL, as everyone knows, the AFL system's really hard to, put your body on the line for. So I think it's a reason why to think of Ewan. And it's also Patterson as well. I don't think he has DPP, does he? No. But he's 185k. He's not a bad idea to go for. I might even have a excuse me. I might even have a little look and see how he's going this preseason. Willem Dersma, a guy that I think everyone should go for. It's kind of a tradition, or not tradition, but it's kind of a thing that everyone just goes for the number one pick. He's going to be playing round one, which I think when you structure your team, you want everyone playing round one, except for probably your R3. But you get what I mean. Like you want everyone to play. So, and if you're thinking of super early, who's going to be playing? It's going to be Dersma in that Eagle side. It's not very it's not a very deep team, isn't it? They've got 47 spots, so they've made room. They get a 48th spot, I'm pretty sure as well. But you look at guys like McRae and Robertson, who are also guys you're looking into as well. Lindsay probably joining Tom McCarthy with the halfback role. You got Cooper Duff-Titler. Yeah, look, this team I feel like is going to be a bit of a whirlwind when it comes to who's playing what games and how many games. But I think a guy like Dersma, a guy like, if you look at your main guys, McCarthy, Baker, Graham, Richmond, great, good to know. Marich, Yo, if he's healthy, Flynn, Duggan, Cole, Kelly, like they've got they've got an okay foundation. So the rest of that team is really going to be kind of who's playing well, or let's give this kid an opportunity when another guy's injured. Jagger Smith from Carlton. I think he's probably the most locked guy you can think of when it comes to that price, 119k. He obviously had his ACL injury last year. One full season of the AFL system of how everything works. And obviously, he's running and probably doing non-contact training towards the end of the year. And now he's probably playing a full pre-season. He's a guy that you need to go for. That starting midfield for Carlton will be Hewitt, Walsh, and Cripps. Chera comes in, but Jagger Smith also goes into that. You think a guy like Chera or Walsh will play up forward? I think they play. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like Hewitt played a bit of halfback at some point last year. It's a pretty strong midfield group to get into for Jagger Smith, but I reckon for a team like Richmond at round one, I think they can definitely fit Jagger Smith in there because, with all due respect to my Richmond midfielders, they're probably not they're not the most intimidating group. I love you guys, but there's a lot better out there. So Jagger Smith, I think, is a lock, even if you have him on the bench. Because I think he'll be starting on the interchange. But yeah, I think that's what's going to go down. Now going to Rucks. I've only got only one lock for Rucks. And there is a reason why. I've mentioned this a couple of times. I'm going to make a video on it, on what it's going to look like. What should we do for our ruck situation? Tristan Cherry, with the new rules of, there's no there's no bouncing of the ball, and then you've got to run for it. You can't hug each other and then tap it. And then the third rule, which I think is the most important one, is the around the ground rule, where if the ruckman, or if there's no designated ruckman in this period amount of time, they're gonna they're just gonna throw it up. So when you look at how teams structure their rucks, Tristan Cherry is the most expensive in probably the top 10. Yep. He's the only guy who kind of plays like a fourth or fifth midfielder. Besides Jackson, who I don't think a lot of people are going to go for because they're trialing out him as a midfielder. But for Cherry, he still stays with the ball and around the ground. So because he gets such high tackle numbers. I think his average is not going to actually change that much. But for a guy like Max Gorn, I think it's going to go down by, I reckon, at least 10. At least 10. I know that's not a lot. 10, 15. Like, he's got such a nice overreaching arm when he rucks Gorn, but he's not going to get there in time because how Melbourne played last year, probably going to be bit different this year. And it'll be interesting to see in preseason games where they put Max Gorn with this new rule. I think he's a guy that you can't go for. You're paying way too much money for a guy I think is going to lose your cash, a lot of cash. You'll probably go down to around 600K, but nothing less. Same with Grundy, Cameron, English, Marshall and DeConing you don't touch. Witts, Meek, Nankervis, Riley O'Brien. I'm pretty sure Jordan Sweet does as well. So out of your top 13 guys, there's one dude that I would say is a lock, and that's Tristan Cherry, just because for those reasons. Moving on into the forward line. I mean, we were talking about like Jagger Smith being the lock of all locks. Same with Hayden Young. But if we're talking about a lock, we're talking about Harry Sheezel. An average of 107, pretty clear-cut guy compared to the next guy in line in Rankin who doesn't play round one, Nick Martin, who's out for the season. A guy who put up 52 disposals against Richmond, against Richmond, but still, a guy that put up 52 disposals in a game has got forward status. I think he really should not go away from that. Hopefully they play him half back because I think he's lethal like that. But, I mean, there's not much more to say. We know what Harry Shearsel's like. It's just how Clarko uses him. But he's, I think, a guy, like, in terms of, I'm going to keep him for the whole season. I don't care, like, unless he gets injured. I don't care if he puts up 380s in a row or 370s in a row. Like, he'll get back to what he was, like, known for, of, like, his rookie year and his second year. So I think he's fine. Flanders, I think he is the equivalent of the Jack McRae or Bailey Smith of last year. Super cheap. He's gonna have the full license in that midfield for St Kilda. If we just do it to St Kilda. No, they're going to be playing Naz in the middle. Sinclair might have a little go in there, but these two are mainly half-backers. McRae's in the middle. Windhager does go in. Then you got Flanders. Like, there was a pretty clear open spot for St Kilda, in my opinion. Even if they didn't get rid of Jack Steele, which I think, in all fairness, I reckon they could have kept him, but that's okay. But you've got Flanders, you've got McRae, and then you've got one of Naz, Sinclair, Windhager. That's about it. Like, you've got about 5 or 6 guys there who can definitely jump into that midfield role. And for guys who I think are just absolute locks in terms of, like, going into the midfield and having a high CBA and around the ball, is McRae and Flanders. Now, Flanders 396K, only 73 average because Damien Hardwick couldn't find a spot to put him. So they put him half forward, which he wasn't that damaging. Because they brought in Rioli last year, he kind of lost that half-back role when he was 600K or more. So he's lost quite a bit of money since the 2024 season. But, yeah, he's going to be a guy that everyone's going to get again. Like, this price, like, just does not reflect on how this guy is as a player. He's a gun. Great player. Don't know why. I would personally, if I was Damien Hardwick, I would have found any way to, like, make sure that this guy kind of stays on this team, because for Gold Coast, like, halfbackers, I know you got Rioli. It's what's his face, Noble. Noble stuffed you up. I forgot about Noble. Anyways, that kind of makes sense now, but I think everyone is pretty comfortable in saying this, is that Flanders is a better footballer than John Noble. So I think maybe should have prioritised your own players. But anyways, I think that's going to do it for me. those are my 11 locks. Those are the 11 guys that I know that they are stamped into my team. Just 5.8 mil left over, which isn't much. Over 20 guys. I'm going to talk about a guy real quick who was a lock for everyone, was Colby McKercher. 450k, was playing off half the back. Everyone was like, yeah, he's in. Let's bring him in. Then it came out that Colby McKercher is not going to be training with the back line. He'll be training with the midfield, as well as Finn O'Sullivan, which I think Finn O'Sullivan, not a bad idea, I feel. 314k. If he's playing to the guts, it's pretty decent. But they've got too many guys to, play around with, and I probably might be wing. But a guy to look for, to look instead for that half-back role is Cooper Harvey. So 220k. I'll have a look and see what I can do to get him in my team. Obviously, there's about 2 months to go till the actual footy season starts. So it'll be interesting to see what North Melbourne does with that. But I want to shut up. Those are my 11 locks going into the season. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me know if there's any other guys that you think are absolute locks going into the 2026 season. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your preseason. Check out more SuperCoach videos, which will be coming soon. No doubt about it. Seeing those highly viewed videos and people subscribing after those, videos and watching it, give me the thumbs up, gives me a lot more motivation to do AFL videos. So thanks again for tuning in. Hopefully you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.